Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Benson. What's yours? Welcome back to another cooking video. We have like leftover meats and stuff. It's like a Sunday. We got some leftover meats and stuff from the week that I smoked for Kristen's baby shower and just some stuff we had cooked. And we were trying to figure out what we want to do for dinner today. So I'm gonna make homemade enchiladas. I'm gonna make homemade enchilada sauce. It's a little bit cheaper to go that route. Plus I can make plenty and freeze some. So I'm gonna show you how I make my homemade enchilada sauce. I will tell you, this enchilada sauce is a little bougie. Most enchilada sauces are just, you know, some stock, some seasonings, you boil it, you're good to go. Well, we're gonna flavor it up a little bit. I'm adding 2 medium diced onions, 8 cloves of garlic, and then the rest of the seasonings. So we're gonna get the onions in my pot going with the olive oil, get those kind of, I don't want them caramelized too much, just a little bit, and then we're gonna lid them and let them go opaque. Then we'll add the garlic about a minute or two before we start adding all the other stuff. But 2 cans of Hunt's fire roasted diced tomatoes, just the regular size cans, 8 cloves of garlic, 2 small medium onions. Dice those onions, dice that garlic, have it ready to go. You're gonna cook your onions in olive oil till they're a little caramelized, and then lid it and let them go opaque so they're soft. Then we'll add the garlic about 2 minutes to where the onions are almost done. And then once the garlic starts to kind of get really like aromatic, then we'll throw in the the chopped tomatoes. And then we're gonna go in with 4 cups of chicken stock. You can use chicken stock or beef stock depending on what kind of flavor you want with your enchilada sauce. And then we're also gonna need some vinegar and some other spices. But I'll bring you back, let me get the onions going. So we wanna start out, I'm making a double batch, so we're gonna go with 2 tablespoons of ground chili powder. Just get, you know, standard ground chili powder. I guess you can dry your chilies. Dog's making a weird noise over there. You could dry the chilies yourself and ground these up and stuff, or you could just buy it. So again, we're gonna go 2 tablespoons. About the center of your palm is a tablespoon. What is she doing?
It's her foot on the floor.
Oh, okay. Sorry, dog, weird. So, if you look, that is about a tablespoon. So we're gonna go 2 of these. And just to show you, I got a tablespoon. So watch. Level tablespoon, palm, same amount. That's how you know you got a tablespoon with you. There's a way to do teaspoons. I haven't figured it out. I just use a teaspoon. So this calls for 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. Guys, cumin's my favorite. It's my favorite in the world. So we're gonna do a tablespoon of cumin. Now, keep in mind, if cumin's not your flavor, back down on it. I do a tablespoon. You could do a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons, but cumin's a strong flavor, and I know there's some people that don't like it. I get it. I do. I really do. All right, so see how some of the onions have started to caramelize, but they're not too bad. They're starting to go a little opaque. I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic now. All right, the next thing we're gonna put in there is just a pinch of cinnamon. I know it sounds weird. Cinnamon kind of helps enhance the flavors a little bit. So we are gonna do just a pinch of cinnamon, nothing crazy. Be very careful with this. I would say probably, maybe that much. Not even a quarter of a teaspoon, maybe an 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you wanna measure it out, I get it. Some people have to stick to measuring the recipes. 100%, I really do. The next ingredient we're gonna go in with is a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. Just dried oregano leaves will work. I'm gonna measure this one out. Boop. Now what I'm doing is the garlic's in there now, the tomatoes are gonna go in just a minute. I'm measuring out all my dried seasonings into a bowl. That's probably the best way to do it, and the only reason I say that is because once you're ready to go, if you get everything prepped, then you can just dive right into this. The next step is a teaspoon of salt into your dry mixture. We may be adding salt later once the seasoning and everything gets kind of blended together. Sometimes your stock will have a lot of salt, so you don't have to worry about adding too much, but we may be adding more after we taste test it. The salt will be will be a seasoned to taste kind of situation. Did add garlic, actual fresh garlic to this recipe. We're gonna add just a 1/4 teaspoon of dried garlic powder to this. That really kind of helps enhance the garlic flavor that's already in there from the fresh garlic. Again, you can always reduce the onion amount and the garlic amount based on your personal taste. So, got all our dry seasonings here. So 2 tablespoons of ground chili powder, a pinch of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano leaves, a pinch, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of ground garlic powder, and then again I do a tablespoon of cumin powder. You can definitely reduce that amount to your liking. They're in there. Now that the garlic's fresh, we're gonna drop in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then we'll add our tomatoes along with that and get that stirred up and blended, and then we're gonna go with 4 cups of chicken stock. So let's get over there and get that ready. All right, new spot for you guys. You're on the stove with me. So tomato paste, that's about 2 tablespoons right there. Got that in there. My tomatoes are already in there as well. So now that that's all in there, we're gonna give it a good stir, kind of. Apparently I left the wooden spoon too close to the heat. My spoon is hot, y'all. Oh, I am cooking this all on a medium to low heat. That way nothing burns while we're getting this ready. This is gonna make a lot of enchilada sauce if you're doing this recipe with the 4 cups. Now you can cut everything in half and make a smaller batch of this. Again, I'm making enough. I like to make enough that I can freeze it, say midweek. I'm like, you know what? I want some enchilada sauce. I don't know what I'm gonna put it on, but I'm gonna have some. So, once you get all your tomatoes and your tomato paste in there, it should look like that. It literally looks like a heap of tomatoes and onions and garlic. That in there. Now we need our chicken stock. I just got what was on sale. The organic just happened to be what was on sale. This is, there are 4 cups in this container, so it's a whole container of this chicken stock. Blub, 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 blub. Now most enchilada sauce, again, doesn't have chunks in it. Doesn't have chunks of onions or tomatoes or garlic or anything like that. This is probably a very bougie enchilada sauce. Because, again, I'm gonna chop up some meat and stuff and get it in there. So, get our spoon in there and just kind of stir it around. Now the chicken stock is cool, it's room temperature, so it's gonna bring the temperature of everything down. So, there we go, get that in there. Now our seasonings can go in next. Again, we have our seasonings here. What do I do with my whisk? Got a decently good whisk. This is what happens when your 11-year-old puts your, or your 13-year-old puts your utensils away. He puts it in a drawer and then he gets caught. So it's great he does dishes, but he's destroying my whisk at this point.
I heard my number.
Yeah, wrong kid.
Oh, heck yeah.
So there's our dry seasoning into the pot, and then whisk it. That chili powder is going to give this such a deep, dark red color. And really what you're looking for is not a super salty, not a super tangy sauce or anything like that. Not a super salty sauce, because you want that chili. Enchilada sauce is all about the chili powder and how forward that is. So we're gonna get this whisked in here. All right, so once that's whisked in there, you can really get rid of your whisk. You could do that with a spoon too. You don't even need a whisk. This poor whisk needs to get thrown away. So now that my spoon's cooled off again. All right, the last step, now that everything's in the pot and we're trying to bring it back up to a boil, is we're gonna take a tablespoon of cornstarch. This is just gonna thicken it up, and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We're gonna mix that up until the cornstarch completely dissolves. You can use flour if you want to use flour, not a lot, but if you're going to use flour, add it to the onions. I would say a tablespoon of flour added in with your onions as they're cooking, and you just kind of cook that flour down. Give that a good stir. Now, before it hits a boil, I'm going to go ahead and get a taste of it just to see if I think it's missing anything. It's got the right amount of heat to it. Good saltiness. I'm gonna say it needs another tablespoon of, for us, it's gonna need another tablespoon of the tomato paste, another 2 tablespoons of chili powder. This is just how I cook, y'all. I'm not great with recipes, mainly because I cook just as taste. So if I taste it and it tastes good, then I'll, you know, I taste as I cook. So, and then I usually remember the recipe when I'm done. And I'm gonna do another tablespoon of cumin. So that's my method of cooking, is I kind of just, I get in there, I get my hands dirty, I test out things. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they succeed. And that's really what cooking's about. You know, I kind of want to do cooking videos for people who don't know how to cook, or they've never understood how to cook. You know, and there's plenty out there, don't get me wrong, there's a ton out there. But I think I'm going to do it from like that poor standpoint. Like, you know, you can eat good seasoned food and delicious food and stuff like that and still be poor. It doesn't require a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. My spice cabinet is overflowing onto the counter behind you. I need like a bookshelf for all the spices that I collect and stuff. But it's taken me years to get to that point. You know, you can start small, and you know, you don't have to buy super expensive spices. You can buy the cheap stuff and make do. And I think that's what I kind of want to get across to people, is that cooking for me is very therapeutic. I enjoy it. It calms me down if I've had a stressful day. If you watch me cook, you would assume it stresses me out, and I'm sure my family's like, "Are you okay? You seem like your head's gonna explode." And leading up to it, because I get so anxious about making sure it tastes good and making sure people enjoy it, that it seems to stress me out. But in the middle of it, in this part of it, like bringing these flavors and stuff together, it really kind of it reduces my stress. It's like it's a happy place for me. It's almost like being in the middle of Disney World and a huge crowd of people. It relaxes me and calms me down. So, but we're gonna give this guy another test now that I've given you my philosophy lesson, apparently. It's got such a beautiful red color. It's like, if you've ever seen like a chocolate tomato, how it's like a red-brown color, it's that. It has that chili pepper color, like a rosa poblano. Oh. That's good. I would eat that as a tomato soup with like a grilled cheese. But alas, we're making enchiladas. Alright, I'm gonna get this to a boil, and then I'm gonna reduce the heat down to a low and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. And I'll bring you back for a final taste test, see if we need to add any salt or anything, if it needs to be thickened up at all. Right now it's looking good. You know, we're gonna add the meat and stuff to it and make some enchiladas in a little bit, but bring you back in about 30 minutes. Alright, that's the color we want right there. I scraped the sides where it reduced down, but it reduced down about a ½ inch. So, and you can see kind of how thick it is, how concentrated that color is. It's a beautiful color for it. Pulled a spoonful out after I took it off the stove, so we're going to give it a try now. Hot, 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 hot. Oh. That's good. It's got good flavor. The person we have to impress the most, though, is the pregnant lady. Let's go have her try it.
It's really hot.
Alright, there we go.
It's good.
Does it need anything?
I mean,
What?
no.
No? Does it need more chili powder or anything?
That's what I was thinking, but
Yep.
no, not once it hits the back of your throat.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's good.
Alright, I'll bring you back when she starts preparing the enchiladas and show them to you. But yeah, this has to cool down a lot. Anyways, we'll be back Love you guys. Here's our enchilada meat mixture. So it's got pork loin, and then pork shoulder in it. It's just, like I said, some meat that we had. I shredded it, and that's what it looks like. So basically, she's gonna spoon a little bit in the bottom, and then she's gonna make, instead of making rolled enchiladas, she's gonna make stacked enchiladas, almost like an enchilada bake. So, but we're gonna do one with canned sauce and one with my sauce, and see how the taste is. And there it is. This is a double layer, that's a single layer. We just had plenty. The reason we make so much is this is our lunches for the week as well. So it'll be dinner tonight, lunches for the week, and then probably dinner another night. So there we go, enchilada bake. These are really easy recipes. Because we eat so little, it lasts a long time. So, you know, the kids will eat theirs, we'll eat ours, and like I said, it's lunches and maybe dinner another night. But that's it. That's an enchilada bake. That's homemade enchilada sauce. And Kristen said if you do it layered like that, you're looking at less carbs because you're probably not going to end up eating an entire tortilla, versus if you eat an enchilada rolled up, you'll end up eating a whole one. So if you guys enjoyed this one, let me know if you tried this recipe. Enchiladas are the best. Mexican food's delicious. We love you guys. Till tomorrow. Enchiladas fresh out of the oven.